¿Qué onda? This is Shista Garcilaso. Aztlan Weekly is a volunteer-based community news outlet. Our work is brought to you by the contributions of El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida, PNLRU, also known as La Raza Unida Party. If you're interested in learning more about the party or want to join, visit www.razaunidaparty.org. Our show is also brought to you by Maíz Poppin' Press, a raza-based publisher producing cultura para la raza. For more info, visit their webpage, www.maizpoppin.com, or find them on social media by searching at Maíz Poppin' Press, and keep a lookout for their upcoming book, Once Upon a Time in Occupied Aztlan, by El Indio, copyright 1985. Lastly, Aztlan Weekly is made possible by you, the listener. If interested in offering further contributions or support, visit www.aztlanweekly.com. And now, on with the show.
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
There is a signal broadcast every second of every day. Look around the environment we live in. Carbon dioxide, fluorocarbons, and methane have increased. We are resourced to them. They want benign indifference. They want us drugged. We could be pets. We could be food. But all we really are is livestock. Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. Keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated.
¿Qué hubo, raza? Yo soy Ernesto Ayala.
¿Qué hubo, raza? Yo soy Shista Garcilaso.
And this is Aztlan Weekly. We begin with noticias desde Nuevo Mexicaztlán, New Mexico. According to ACLU of New Mexico, El Estado's Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has signed the Immigrant Safety Act, House Bill 9, into law, prohibiting state and local governments from contracting with federal agencies for civil immigration detention. The law aims to end the state's involvement in a federal detention system that advocates view as inhumane and abusive, and a law that might allow migrants and immigrant residents to live without fear of surveillance or detention by migra forces.
And in other migra-related news, desde Los Angeles Califas, according to LAist.com, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass issued an executive directive prohibiting federal migra agents from staging, processing, or operations on city property, citing controversial past actions. The order also directs the LAPD to preserve evidence of federal immigration activities and comply with state laws, including a ban on agents wearing masks during raids. Let's hope La Chota actually enforced Mayor Karen Bass's directive.
And in wildlife-related news from Los Angeles Califas, according to KTLA.com, a 3-year-old female gray wolf has been observed in the mountains north of Santa Clarita. marking the first documented presence of a wild wolf in Los Angeles County in over 100 years. Wildlife officials are tracking El Lobo using a GPS collar, which shows she traveled over 300 miles from her original pack in Plumas County. Experts suggest the wolf is likely seeking a mate or new territory, which is common behavior for young wolves reaching maturity. This sighting is considered a significant development in the recovery of gray wolves in el estado de Califas, a species nearly eliminated from the state in the early 1920s. Officials acknowledge that the wolf's journey is challenging due to risks like vehicle collisions and the absence of established wolf populations in Sur Califas. And now news from Aztlan, Texas. According to a recent TPR.com report, el estado de Texas has over 1 million uninsured children, with raza or so-called Latino children making up two-thirds, the majority of this uninsured population, signifying a substantial healthcare issue in the state, a crisis. Many of these children are eligible for Medicaid or CHIP, but they face systemic hurdles like administrative complexity and language barriers that impede access to coverage. According to the report by Every Texan and the Georgetown University Center for Children and Families, the end of pandemic health protections resulted in increased disenrollment. Experts suggest that Texas' decision not to expand Medicaid and its complicated renewal procedures worsen these inequalities, particularly for our raza and lower-income families. Advocacy organizations are advocating for state officials to adopt continuous coverage policies to prevent children from losing vital medical care.
And in climate-related news from Aztlan, Colorado, according to CPR.org, El Estado de Colorado is experiencing its lowest snowpack levels in decades, following a warm and dry winter. The statewide snow water equivalent is at about 50% of the median, with some southern regions showing greater deficits. This situation raises significant concerns for the water supply used in agriculture and municipalities. The shortage could negatively impact the upcoming runoff season and the health of the Colorado River. Experts warn that without substantial spring storms, the state could face prolonged and intense drought.
We'll be right back after a word from our contributors.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, a Chicano writer, editor, and Aztlan Weekly reporter with the widest name. Scott! Aztlan Weekly is produced in association with Maíz Poppin' Press, where we publish radical imagination and resistance writing that pops. Visit maizpoppin.com. We're also in association with the Palabras del Pueblo Writing Workshop, an affordable and accessible online workshop that centers La Raza and strengthens our own literary institutions. Writing that speaks to our community first and loudest. See more at palabrasdelpueblo.com.
And now back to Aztlan Weekly.
Now in news desde Nevada, Nevada. According to 8newsnow.com, the College of Southern Nevada has introduced new online cannabis career certificate programs aimed at preparing students for the expanding mota industry. These programs, developed with Green Flower, provide specialized non-credit training in cultivation, retail, and manufacturing, drawing on insights from over 50 industry experts. The certificates are designed to be affordable and flexible, offering a clear path for career entry or advancement. Graduates receive access to the Mota or Cannabis Career Research Center for continued support and networking. Alrighty then.
And in other education-related news, edsource.org reports El Estado de Califas Indian Nations College, CINC, has received full 8-year accreditation from Accrediting Commission for Community and Junior Colleges, ACCJC, becoming the state's first independent tribal college with this status. This accreditation allows the college to award associate's degrees independently, a step up from its previous reliance on a partnership with the College of the Desert. The achievement enables CINC to access federal funding and facilitate student credit transfers to four-year universities. President Celeste Townsend views this as a significant advance for indigenous-centered higher education in California. Orale.
And now news from Utah Aztlan, Utah. According to ABC4.com, the Utah House of Representatives passed HB 136, a bill requiring law enforcement to impound vehicles driven by individuals without a valid license or permit. The bill, sponsored by Representative Matt McPherson, aims to enhance road safety by giving police stronger enforcement tools. It increases impoundment fees to $660 and mandates a licensed driver be present for vehicle release, though exceptions exist for expired licenses or public safety risks. House Democrats raised concerns that the measure could lead to racial profiling and negatively impact immigrant and low-income communities. The bill also permits officers to take quick fingerprints of unlicensed individuals for criminal record checks.
Spensa, damas y caballeros, we seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties. I don't know, just put it in a tape.
Ladies and gentlemen, we seem to be experiencing some technical difficulties. Please stand by.
They have power. We have numbers. And although we are growing and organizing, we're not as organized as we can be. There are tens of millions of raza, tens of millions of Chicanas and Chicanos, tens of millions of indigenous people, and we are growing. And we're overwhelmingly workers. We are the people in the fields. We are the people in the factories. We are the people in the tiendas and everywhere doing everything. We, if properly organized, with what the partido is, in every barrio, on every reservation, because that's our raza, in every school, in La Pinta, everywhere that there is raza in the workplace, we are a force that cannot be stopped. We are a nation. We are a nation. But we need to realize that. And we need to talk about that every single day, compañeras and compañeros. That's what brought us here. We're all different raza from everywhere. But we have one idea. We can be free. But we need to organize to do that. As one people, one nation. And don't be in the United States, obviously. But we can't do that. They even tell us, there are reports of the economic power of so-called Latinos in the United States that we could be the 8th largest economy independent of anybody. And they're not talking about Islam or revolution, but they recognize that. Do we recognize that?
Thanks for hanging in there, listeners.
That was a beat by very own El Indio, featuring the words of our very own Ernesto Ayala. For more from El Indio, visit El Indio Arts on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Now back to Aztlan Weekly. And back to news desde San Pancho Califa, San Francisco. According to El tecolote.org, a community-led effort and exhibition sprouted up last week aiming to save the Mission Cultural Center for Latino Arts, MCCLA, after the center's closure due to a financial crisis. Photos and portraits featured artists, elders, and families who rallied for the preservation of this cultural hub. These testimonials document the resilience of San Pancho's or San Francisco's Raza community in the face of displacement. The coverage emphasizes that the center is a sanctuary for art, history, and identity that must be protected. The article by eltecolote.org captures a movement believing the mission's cultural legacy is essential to the city's diversity.
Y también news desde Arizona Aztlan. According to 12news.com, Benson Hospital in Arizona has initiated a pilot program that prescribes fresh produce to patients with chronic conditions, framing nutrition as a medical necessity. This, quote, food is medicine, unquote, program provides locally sourced fruits and vegetables to 16 participants selected to make long-term lifestyle changes. Early results indicate participants are successfully replacing processed foods with nutrient-dense options, and medical professionals are observing health improvements like better blood pressure and stabilized blood sugar levels. Based on positive outcomes, there are plans to seek funding to expand the program statewide and improve healthy food access for low-income residents through mobile markets and transportation. And now a word from our camarada Andrea Martinez desde Crazy Town, Nuevo Mexicaslan.
This is Andrea Martinez coming from Roswell, New Mexico, Aztlan. Que viva Aztlan libre. I would like to make a statement. After long consideration and with great patience, I have made the decision to step down from Food Not Bombs Roswell. This decision did not come lightly. I made repeated attempts to meet with fellow team members, to engage in open dialogue and reflection, but those meetings were ultimately not able to take place. In honoring both myself and the work, I listened carefully to what reality was asking of me. Food Not Bombs Roswell is something I helped build alongside Jocelyn Smith and many dedicated volunteers throughout the years. Together, we have cultivated a project rooted in care, mutual aid, and community nourishment. The organization has deeply grown and successful. I am deeply proud and honored to have been a part of its foundation and its impact. There comes a time when energy shifts, paths diverge, and alignments change. When that happens, it is important to move with integrity and respect for all involved. My spirit has made it clear that it is time for me to step into a different direction. I shared my sacred smoke, healing intentions, love, and tears into this work, and because of that, this choice was made with reverence, not with resentment. I release my role with gratitude for what was built and trust and what comes next. I intend to continue working and serving in my community while focusing on my writing and honoring my organization's responsibilities as a New Mexico State Representative. My commitment to community care, justice, and collective well-being remains unwavering, even as the form of my work evolves. I wish Food Not Bombs continued strength and care as it moves forward in service to the community. With all respect, Andrea Martinez.
And now, eventos en Aztlan.
Hola gente, my name is Jessica Hanlon Lopez, City of Albuquerque Poet Laureate Emerita from 2014 to 2016, and I have the distinct honor of featuring at an upcoming show at Juno Brewery, Sunday, March 8th from 4 to 7. It's going to be hosted by my homie Trey Dahl and featuring a slew of amazing female-identified poets and musicians. I hope you can come out. In the meanwhile, I thought I'd share a piece with you from the Blood Poems. This was published by UNM Press in honor of the City of Albuquerque Poets Laureates publications. Some would consider this explicit. I do not. I see this as feminista AF. So if you're afraid of a few certain inflammatory words, I would tune out if I were you. But, I mean, I wouldn't if I were you. Obsidian knife to cut the shit out. When your pussy is made of volcanic glass, lip sharp and juice of the black blue blood ooze from the memories of your in-between-the-legs magic. Don't want to remember, but must not forget recollections. You by a blade. That blade is a root. It is a truffle you were always meant to unearth. It is a knife to cut the shit out. Cut the worry, cut the ties that bind and strangle, cut that man's anterior jugular vein. You let the blood pour into a stainless steel singing bowl, then boil that shit. Pour the gelatinous waste from your kitchen window. Let the sunshine burn the poison from the DNA. Then you cut scraps of muslin, stitch medicine into the flesh of the cotton, stitch it with your pussy hair, weave the wool of you. You are your own unrepentant Delilah. Wield that obsidian blade, sharp and pointed as a stag's springtime antler, free of winter's velvet. Take that blade and shave your legs, or don't. Cut your hair, or don't. Pull the petrified glass from between the sorcery of where your thighs meet, where your pain sings like a choir of holier-than-thou bedeviled angels, glistens with the beauty of your suffering, glistens like brine, the way snails and mollusks produce the fruit of their jelly, propel their muscled mollusks' bodies forward. Forward, you will fashion a blade. You will buy a bone-weary pommel and produce a knife. Carve your name into the nearest dead tree like a good witch does, a bad bitch does. Cut the years past umbilical and bury it on the east side of your home, or eat it instead. Whatever you want, girl, whatever you want. You will whittle a lover from the bark of a cedar tree, whittle a friend, a song. Cut the lonely from your rib cage, cut the shit. Let the juice of the black blue veins drip from the old house you once called your body. And in that house, you will leave the lights on. Let them burn for all passers-by to witness the hallelujah of your glory. For all those gawkers and sin-gobbling capricious folk to ride like the summer tent born-again evangelical circus goers they are. Let them smolder beneath the Damascus blade that you made with your very hands, throat heavy to the touch. Let them judge. Let them witness how your obsidian knife is able to blind the eyes, catch the light, refract the phenomenon of sight. Cut the shit. Bend, girl. Bend. The way hematite makes love to the silica that burns the obsidian. Then see how they pray. Oh, how they will pray to the sacred and divine black blue blood producing pussy. My dog likes my poem. Come see us Sunday, March 8th, Juno Brewery, 4 to 7 p.m.
This event will take place at Juno Brewery in Burque, New Mexico. Address 1501 First Street, Northwest Albuquerque, New Mexico 87102. For more information, visit their webpage, junopub.com. And for more from our hermana Jessica Helen Lopez, search Luchador Books on Instagram or go to jessicahelenlopezpoet.wordpress.com.
Are you in Las Vegas and have always wanted to learn how to dance salsa? Well, you should join us for Salsa Sin Pena. This class is open to everyone, all genders, all cultures, and is beginner focused. No experience preferred. All profits are going to go to Fifth Center Projects and Docu Relief Fund, who continuously support with Immigrants Aid all year long, and Villains Dance Studios generously donating the space and their time for this cause. We'll also have a special performance from Jorge Galles for a social hour as everyone comes in to just kind of get us in the vibe. Join us Saturday, February 21st at 11 a.m. Bring your besties, partners, parents, siblings, bring everyone. Let's learn salsa together. Tickets are in the bio, and I hope to see you there.
For more information about this event, search Vegas Latinas on Instagram. That's Vegas Latinas on Instagram. Y un evento desde Colorazlan on Monday, February 16th, the Colorado El Movimiento Sigue in Pueblo, Colorado, invites you to come by for their No Ice shirt making event. Stop by with a shirt, pick an anti-ice design, and press for free. Where? 635 West Coronas Suite 101, Pueblo, Colorado. When? February 16th between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. For more info, find them on Instagram by searching El Movimiento Sigue.
The San Francisco Mission District has long been ground zero for memory, struggle, and imagination. On February 28th at 7 p.m., join us there at Medicine for Nightmares for the Northern California launch of Chicanx Futurism, Gritos for Tomorrow, Codex 1. This living codex brings together speculative fiction, art, comics, poetry, and essays imagining Chicanx futures already forming. Hosted by Scott Russell Duncan, featuring M.M. Olivas, E.C. Dukes, Ronnie Dukes, Natalia Rivas, Patrick Fontes, Joel Flores, and Salvador Ayala. With Project Masa visuals and a preview of an in-development Chicanx Futurist video game by Dukes Comics. February 28th, 7 p.m., Medicine for Nightmares.
And now Aztlan Weekly presenta Aztlan y Más, porque we bring Aztlan with us everywhere we go.
Today, reporting from Puebla, York, it's Alejandro Valles, and I'd like to report that Mandami, the mayor of New York City, has created a groundbreaking law on February 6, 2026. And this law is an executive order which prohibits federal immigration agents, aka ICE, from entering city-owned property, aka schools, hospitals, and shelters without a judicial warrant. This initiative strengthens the city's sanctuary status, protecting immigrant access to services and restricting data sharing. ICE does not have free reign in New York City, in Puebla, York. Puebla, York remains a safe space. The verbal history that I'm receiving from my ears to your ears is that we are safe in New York City. So thank you to Mandami for this decision, this ruling to protect La Raza in Puebla, York. And next, stay tuned for my interview with Miranda Family Cafe, the famous artist behind the culinary art that is the famous Miranda Hamburguesa of Puebla, York, at Plaza Cuauhtemoc at 219 Cook Street every Sunday. You could find this amazing family chefing it up alongside many other vendors. I'm going to ask him, how did his family end up in Puebla, York? What are they doing here? And how do they like it? So this is Alejandro Valles with Aztlan Weekly, Aztlan y Más, porque we bring Aztlan with us everywhere we go. And with me today is Juan Miranda from the famous Miranda Cafe in Woodside, Queens. So today I want to start off by thanking you, bro.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for having me on your platform, man. Above all, it's an honor to get interviewed by you, man. Really appreciate it for thinking of us.
Thank you. And the number one question which I raised to you, which I cannot forget, the journey. How did your family get here?
That's a great question. So from the stories that I hear from obviously both sides of my parents, they met in Mexico, and so they're from different states of Mexico. My dad's from Morelos, Cuernavaca, Morelos, and my mom's from Veracruz, Piedras Negras. And funny story, they ended up meeting in Puebla, and I believe, I don't recall the town. I want to say Matamoros, but I just don't want to get ahead of myself. But anyway, they met in Puebla. They both lived there. And then, I guess like every other, immigrant family, they wanted to have better things in life and, a better future. And they migrated to the United States. They ended up, when they first got here, my dad actually came first. I was already born in Mexico, and I was one of the reasons why they actually were like, well, let's go get the American dream. And my dad ended up coming to Arizona. That's where all his family's at. And then a year later, my mom and I came to Arizona. And then from there, they ended up coming out here to New York, with family on my mom's side. And and I guess I never answered the reason of why they came here. It's like for money wise, I build a future, have a better opportunity for myself and my brothers and I. Yeah, man.
Wow, that's amazing. So they went to Arizona and then they took the stairs to come here to New York City.
Yeah, they had a better. My dad said there was a better job out here for him, and I guess that kind of entered. It was a job opportunity actually that led us to New York City. And I guess what was the other question? How did the shop start?
Well, yeah, you could tell us how the shop started, but like from this out, a lot of the people, the Mexicanos here, are from all over the world, all over the country.
I'm about to cross the 3-year mark with being with them this year, so it was all something that my brothers wanted to like have. So that's how it started, and then it's been great so far. I can't complain. It's been one hell of a journey, that's for sure. And we look forward to what every other day comes. We get to meet people, we get to meet youth, and aside from other people out there that the people that come in through the door, they just end up becoming family. So it's a great thing I think we have going on.
Wow, bro. So basically, this didn't happen overnight.
It's just, I guess, how you nurture whatever it is that you're doing that will kind of make you, I could say, or brand your business, I guess, And I guess that our biggest thing is to be the hospitality at its finest, to feel anyone that walks into the door to feel welcome, That's our biggest things. Like, we work on every day crucially to be able to make everyone, as soon as you walk in, and like make me feel like they're family.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I was sitting there for breakfast, but all your regulars are like, they will happily wait like all over the place. They don't mind. They just want some of that food.
Yeah. That's another great point of like the food that we do. We want it to be very unique from every other place that you walk in. Whether it's flavor wise, pricing, because I feel like we want it to be a little more affordable since we don't have a lot of overhead. Since it really is a family-run business, we have no employees to have that overhead. So I guess we're very comfortable to our audience or to our menu where like pricing can be very affordable. Then again, we are in a crisis, so I don't want to be like, making it feel comfortable for people to come in. We ended up being part of Plaza Cuauhtémoc is through Maggie, who, a.k.a. the Shrimp Cocktail King himself, El Burrito en Primavera, ended up coming to the shop. We ended up, finding each other in Instagram, and then, the whole posting and commenting back and forth started, and then he ended up saying, like, hey, we're going to stop by in for some sandwiches. And I said, yeah, man. He said, show me over the address. I showed him over the address. He came in. Little did I know was he was going to do a whole, pictures and video. I wasn't really expecting that. I honestly thought that, because, I would see his page and he already had, his thing going on in the plaza. And I think he's probably like an influencer. And, most of these influencers nowadays, they want to come out, but they want you to either, for you to pay them. So I figured like, oh, well, he's gonna, maybe want to add something in return like that. But no, I was completely wrong. And, he came in, I remember telling my mom, I'm like, hey, somebody's coming in from Instagram there. Cause I wasn't there that day. I had to do something in the morning. And Casey come in and she just treated me, VIP. Everyone's VIP at the shop, but like, just make sure everything, camera friendly. And I told everyone, don't be shy. But, I wasn't expecting a video and like the whole interview, which was like kind of with a little curveball, but I felt like that video was so raw and like so like, unexpected that like it just felt so normal, watching the video. And then, we had a chat and then he invited us to his, private plaza that he was in. We went, had a great time, and then we ended up doing some cargadas at the shop. And that's where the birth of Plata Cuauhtemoc came into play, the idea he had, and he shared it with us, and he said we wanted to take part of it, and we ended up being the sponsors for Plata Cuauhtemoc, which we announced it at one of the cargadas that we had at the shop. And ever since, it's been a great journey. You know, it's been an honor for us to be part of it, and we look forward to it. To be in that community, because that's something that I was kind of looking to put Miranda Cafe in, like to break into that kind of community, or to break into something like that where it was either farmers market or something like that, just to kind of start expanding a little bit more. But like I said, you put it out in the universe, and you will somehow, way you will attract what you're looking for, and then here comes Mais and Plaza Cuauhtemoc is here, and how I feel about it. Wow, I mean, there's no words to kind of describe the feeling. You kind of have to feel it. But I'm honored, happy. We look forward to every Sunday to being there and seeing so many new faces and whole faces now, and meeting new people. It's a great thing. And one of your questions, right? Do we repeat it a bit? Honestly, when you love what you're doing, you kind of don't feel like that, or it doesn't feel like that. But it's more of like how can I say? It's more of like an honor to be there, like you want to be there. And it's just been a great journey. It's been a great, and we're so thankful with to have us be part of it. And I don't think I can ever get tired of telling him thank you. It's been so great so far.
Yeah, homie, that's the real shit. Mayolis is a man, bro. He's him and you have been so great to be around at Plaza Cuauhtemoc at 219 Cook Street in Brooklyn on every Sunday on TikTok and Instagram. And Burrito Primavera, his cocktails de Cameron are amazing. That goes without saying, right? Honestly, I see both of your businesses, like Plaza Cuauhtemoc, like in my wildest dreams, or maybe it could become the soonest reality. You guys becoming like both your own, like I mentioned it to you before. I'm like, bro, you could freaking have a franchise. Your food is so good, like, and now it comes, obviously there's deep roots, because when you get, sometimes you get food from a diner and you're like, oh, I'm not going back there, but the food from Miranda Cafe, Burrito Primavera, Plaza Cuauhtemoc, is always said plain and simple.
Yeah, man. I mean, the community that Plaza Cuauhtemoc is building, not just. First, let me take you back on what you mentioned, man. The shrimp cocktails, I gotta say, honestly, since the first time we met him at the other platform, we had the honor to try it. We were like, wow, this is amazing, and it really is. It's like it's very tasty, and he's very generous. So, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's listening to this, if you ever get the chance or the opportunity to have a shrimp cocktail from El Burrito Primavera, he's very generous with the shrimp portion in every cocktail. I got it hands down. Yet alone, the habanero tostadas, for those that like a little more kick to it, a little more heat, delicious. And then, to water everything down, his micheladas, I gotta say, they are amazing. Like, phenomenal. Like, and I always say this, in any of our videos that I put out, and I guess anyone that has really tasted his art and craft that he does, it's above and beyond, man. I gotta say, and it's a real honor to be, sharing this vision to him, where Plaza Cuauhtemoc, and like I was mentioning Plaza Cuauhtemoc alongside with the vendors and the people that come in there, it doesn't even feel like, it feels like family. We all feel like it's family in there, and the vibe is so amazing. You don't feel like, again, and it's all about the hospitality, where it's like, even if a new vendor comes in, we make sure to make them feel welcomed and at home. And anyone that works in the plaza. And I guess that's why Plaza Cuauhtémoc has been so very successful since day one. And I feel like it's just because of that. The way I see it, it's a great community. And I can't wait down the road for what has to come and what Plaza Cuauhtémoc could bring. It's just amazing. And branching out and franchising, who knows? Sky's the limit, Anything's possible.
I love the community that I've seen you guys bring together, from the realest influencers. Like, you guys bring these people around, and I've never been around influencers, and next thing you know, they're actually in my inbox, and that's not to throw shade at them. It's to because they're real, they're actually from the community. They're thanking me and me thanking them type of thing, or them at least resharing my photo that. That's so amazing to me. Because it's not like you said. It's an amazing business to me. You guys, what you've done, you guys can give that to your kids. I hope you guys know that your families must be proud of you guys, and it's something really great. Anything positive business and culinary art, I feel it's a nurturing ground for creatives of all different. Because the musicians that have pulled up to Plaza Cuauhtémoc, oh my God, playing the guitar with a bottle. I'm not sure what that song is called.
Yeah, you gotta have a little fun at times, even if it's at work. You gotta let loose. Can't always be working. And it's hard for me not to never be working, because then I feel guilty for it. And sometimes I kind of be like, damn, I could have been doing this and that, but I'm over here, just quick example, maybe just laying on my couch and just watch TV or something like that. Oh, I barely watch television or shows. Funny when people be like, hey, you see this show or something. I'm like, I really haven't. I guess, in my defense, I have a clear mindset of where I want to be at and my goals and, laser focused vision, tunnel vision, where I want to work hard now and then, have fun a little later. Not too much later, where I can't have fun, where I can't have fun, where I can't have fun.
And now Aztlan Weekly presents Where in Aztlan is Scott?
We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Aztlan. Where in Aztlan is Aztlan. Where in Aztlan is Scott.
I'm Scott Russell Duncan, Chicano writer and editor with the widest name. Aztlan Weekly continues its coverage of the 2026 Raza Unida California Congreso on January 31st in San Jose, California. There, Aztlan Weekly's own Ernesto Ayala announced his candidacy for Los Angeles City Council. Listen to a segment of Ernesto's speech at the Congreso.
I went to work, here I am, and you don't know what's going on because they don't tell you anything. They're just like, oh, you think you're pretty tough, huh? Assault on a federal officer? Okay. No paperwork, but that's what they were telling us. Okay. And you're sitting there with that, staring at a white wall, and you're thinking, well, what gives them the right to be here? The guns. That's what gives the right. It's their power. Their power. Let's keep that in mind because they have power. We have numbers. And although we are growing and organizing, we're not as organized as we can be. There are tens of millions of raza, tens of millions of Chicanas and Chicanos, tens of millions of indigenous people, and we are growing. and we're overwhelmingly workers. We are the people in the fields. We are the people in the factories. We are the people in the tiendas and everywhere doing everything. We, if properly organized, which is what the partido is, in every barrio, on every reservation, because that's our raza, in every school, in La Pinta, everywhere that there is raza in the workplace, we are a force that cannot be stopped. We are a nation. We are a nation. But we need to realize that. And we need to talk about that every single day, compañeras and compañeros. That's what brought us here. We're all different raza from everywhere. But we have one idea. We can be free. But we need to organize to do that. As one people, one nation. And don't mean the United States, obviously. But we can't do that. They even tell us, there are reports of the economic power of so-called Latinos in the United States that we could be the 8th largest economy independent of anybody. And they're not talking about Aztlan or revolution, but they recognize that. Do we recognize that? I mean, we here in this room, yes, but La Raza in general, we don't understand that. That's why we're here.
Afterwards, Gabriel Soria sang a song, Stand With LA, about ICE kidnapping Ernesto last year.
I wrote this song about Ernesto. It's called Don't Tell Me You Stand For My Rights If You Don't Stand With Los Angeles Tonight. Mexican in America got the news they kidnapped my friend. At Home Depot, taken by masked men. Don't you tell me you stand for my rights if you don't stand with Los Angeles tonight. Don't you tell me you stand for my rights if you don't stand Los Angeles tonight. American lives in 250 years get kicked away. Chicano can see so clear. Colombia came across that plane, bringing hate and genocide rain. Ya mis derechos vienen antes cualquier americano. Yo soy chicano. Ya mis derechos vienen antes cualquier americano. Yo soy chicano. Plata or plomo always lit Chicano, and rights are God-given and only man can take them away. Woke this morning Mexican, got the news to kidnap my friend. At Home Depot, taken by masked men. Don't you tell me you stand for my rights if you don't stand with Minneapolis tonight. Don't you tell me you stand for my rights if you don't stand with Ernesto tonight.
Finally, Aztlan Weekly reporter Francisco Lopez interviewed students at San Jose State who attended the event.
Amazing, thank you.
So if you could tell us your name.
Jocelyn Isidro. Abby.
Michael.
Angelise.
Andrea.
Sofia.
And you're all San Jose students? You're very good. So what was your thoughts on today? Today here, we're here at the first California Raza Unida conference in a long time here in San Jose. You hear all the history it's got. It's very powerful. Just wondering, youth, that's one of the things we're trying to reach out to. And as we heard today, right, it's all about, you heard a lot of people about passing on the torch. We clearly see you all taking that stand. And we just want to know some ideas. What are your thoughts? But more importantly, how do we reach how do we reach youths? A lot of times we reach our sons, our daughters, but not everyone's our son and a daughter, right? Some people are in our barrio. How do we reach those? Any thoughts on that?
I think today was really amazing and inspiring, seeing such a major concentration of people that are so experienced in organizing and like the Chicano liberation movement. Especially here in San Jose, I think there aren't that many organizations that host events like this where people can really connect and see what their experiences have been like, gain some of their knowledge and stuff. So I think that this was practically a workshop for us to kind of learn and grow. And I think that I'll speak for myself. I'm leaving really inspired. I feel very inspired, and I'm leaving with new perspectives on like current events, talking about the Monroe Doctrine and its connection to ICE and stuff like that. In terms of connecting with the youth today, I find that there's a lot of organizations that stick to Facebook. I find that there's a lot of organizations that will stick to media that doesn't touch today's youth generations as much. So this is not to say they need to go on TikTok or anything así, pero there are other platforms that I think are more accessible to youth. And I think if these organizations wanted to get the word out, it's probably one of the quickest ways to do so.
Good. Well, be honest with us. What are those mediums?
I mean, this is a surveillance state, so whether it's TikTok or Meta platforms, I think that we're kind of screwed either way. Pero I would say Instagram is probably the most broadly accessible one.
Okay.
And I think just going to people's campuses as well, just kind of maybe flyering and things like that, because seeing someone with the cool berets and the uniforms and stuff like that, that's really exciting and attention grabbing. So
what about the gray hair?
That's
right. Yeah. No. Okay. What else? So are your peers, besides those of you here, are they interested in what's going on with the Chicano movement? Be honest. We're just looking for honesty, really.
I find that people that I talk to tend to be aware of it, of course, because I feel like, especially on social media, you just see so much going on. But I feel like people tend to feel very overwhelmed and feel like they don't have power to create change. So then they kind of just shell themselves and just focus on, or just I guess be a little bit ignorant over certain issues. But I think they do care genuinely. It's just they need those people that can help them find those spaces, kind of like this space, to feel empowered to learn, because we're all learning together, and really be an active part of the community.
Very good. So would you be interested in joining the partido? Is that something that would interest you at all? That interests you after today?
The people in here?
Yeah, or in particularly the coalition group that put it together is the Raza Unida party. Is that something that would interest you?
I would say yes. Today was really inspiring. Meeting one of the founding members of MECHA, how we end up here together. It was just very inspiring.
Yeah, history is around us, right? Definitely. What would prevent you from joining an organization like Raza Unida?
Maybe just the time commitment. Being a student too, it's kind of hard to do that. But definitely, I'll just try my best and really try to join too.
Right? Is the price at all a factor
I mean, we say like it's $100 a year to be, I mean, you could be a member for no cost, but to be a voting member, it's $100, and that's one of the things that I texted out to the group today, to the Central Committee. I was like, hey, well, maybe we should have a student rate, or, I don't want to say low income rate, but, there are members in our society, hey, $100, I got other stuff to do. Is there something, is that something that impedes you? Is that something that would be engaging to you if it was a lower price?
Probably, definitely, only because I am a college student and it is really hard to be able to afford things as it is right now. I mean, high tuition where I'm going. But otherwise, if it is a long-term thing and I don't have to pay it continuously, I think I would definitely consider it.
Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, please.
I think that since there is the option to be just a member generally, that is very accessible to a lot of people who are looking for a place to share their grievances as well as just have general discourse. But community is priceless, so being able to just listen to the empowering speeches that a lot of the people are talking about, being able to interact with people who we normally wouldn't have given our general circle, I feel like the membership is a really inclusive way to interact with people, and so
Yeah, thank you for your honesty. What's the next step? We often go, it's like you go to the movies, you go to the movies and you come out of there being the superhero, you come out there doing some karate. What's the next step for y'all? Yeah.
I think maybe reaching out to the orgs to ask if they can have workshops with us, because Mecha, as it sounds they say, isn't that big right now, but with guest speakers, those tend to draw a lot of attention. Especially with the Brown Berets, Black Berets of Justice, reaching out ourselves and having the opportunity to interact with them with other students, and having a Q&A possibly for leadership, or even just learning how to be more active in your community. I think that could be a good next step.
Okay, so have the organization go to the campus itself rather than you inviting y'all to come out. Okay, very good. Any other thoughts you might have? What are topics that are in your mind? What would be engaging? Because, part of La Razonida, the thought is, we have Democrats, we have Republicans. Sometimes I tend to say it's like in Mexico, you had the PRIAN, right? They were the same thing. Is a third party something that, is the youth looking for a third party?
I think seeing how ineffective the two-party system in the U.S. has been, where even the Democrats have decided to sway on topics like immigration, one of the few things we thought they would advocate for us on that end. I think that there's a lot of youth these days that have recently entered the voting age that are looking for those alternatives. I can definitely say that based on, I don't know if it's just my social media feed, but I know that there's a lot of youth that have been interacting with content from third-party governor candidates and stuff like that. And there's youth that are looking for alternatives in city councils, in mayoral candidacies and things like that. So I think seeing that the two-party system has failed us time and time again, the third-party system, a third party to look at would be very nice.
Very good. So the youth is ready to vote. The youth, I see everybody nodding their head. The youth is ready to vote. Is there something else that you all see as yourselves doing besides voting? Because voting is once, every 2 years, every 4 years. Is there something else you all see yourselves doing, or that you think an organization like Razonida could do to make sure that the youth shows up?
I think accessible political education is really important. There's a lot of misinformation out there, biased news headlines. As we can see, there's a lot of Latinos here in the United States that may have fled their countries because of U.S. intervention, things of the sort, and have the idea that the intervention was not the problem, but rather the government itself, without connecting the two and two. So I think taking a step back and giving accessible education on history and current events and tying it all together is something that the youth really needs today.
Awesome. Appreciate y'all. Right? Appreciate you. You have a great
Aztlan. Where in Aztlan is
Tell me where in
Aztlan? Where in Aztlan? Yeah!
And now we return you to our regular scheduled program.
And now Aztlan Weekly presenta Palabra.
In celebration of the release of Chicanx Futurism, Gritos for Tomorrow, launching February 28th at Medicine for Nightmares in San Francisco and March 13th at Beyond Baroque in Los Angeles, contributing writer Patrick Fontes shares his piece, Illegal Letters, performed aloud by his son.
Boisterous laughter rose up from a dozen kids as a brilliant orange sky cast festive, glowing hues down onto the party. Lupita's cousin Mari twirled her around in circles, attempting to disorientate her. Both laughed with their hearts. Lupita stopped, her legs firm, but her body felt like it was still moving. Dizzied, she flexed her calves, stood her ground, and raised her face toward the warmth of a hidden sun. Giggles, coughs, and throat whistles from her cousins and close friends echoed around the enclosed patio. All her life she dreamed of this day, of becoming a state-licensed cuerpo. Strong, fit, respected by both la gente and el gentry for contributing to a working society. Your body is a temple. Since birth, Lupita heard from the ministry broadcast every morning. She didn't want to be like her tío Jesse, who failed to receive certification, who now lived in a wasteland shack in the Fireboss sector. Her mom once took her to visit tío Jesse. The ministry didn't place air purifiers in that sector. Lupita remembered the atmosphere so thick that she used up one breather that day. Breathers used to last at least a month. Jesse lived in a community of makeshift wooden shacks. Inside his small home, Lupita recalled a fire pit and a bed made out of discarded ministry cardboard. A plastic crate with a few tattered books contained all that he owned. Sandra, her mother, said Jesse was a poet, a crazy rebel who played with the useless words that only brought misery to his life. To society and his family, Uncle Jesse was a weezer, an outcast, unfit to serve the ministry as one of the respected cuerpos. Mija, come here, Jesse mentioned to the 9-year-old Lupita, his raspy voice muffled beneath a set of soiled rags tied around his lower face. Even though only in his late 30s, Jesse's skin was weathered like an old boot, his reddish eyes with hints of yellow at the edges testifying to a couple decades in the wastelands. Look at this, Lupita. Open it. Tío Jesse handed her a tattered book. Don't go filling her head with any of your nonsense, Jesse. Do you want her to end up like you, pendejo? Living here alone with nothing but weezers for friends? Jesse looked away with a pained expression. Here, I brought a breather for you. Sandra handed him a device. What? No flavors? He tried to joke as he coughed. Sandra laughed. The plastic mouthpiece fogged up. Does she still know her letters? He forced words out through a bloodied throat, then coughed. His face turned red. He splat blood onto the dusty floor. Lupita gasped. No! I'm raising my kids the right way. One day she'll be a cuerpo, like me, like Pop and Ma. Sandra pleaded with her brother, recalling their youth when she attempted to sway him to reason. Jesse, remember the nursery song Ma used to sing us at night. Sandra's muffled voice fluttered in an eerie, motherly fashion. Broken slats in the walls let in rays of light illuminating dusty air. My children, mis hijos, tools for la gente, and books for el gentry. Strong eyes, strong arms, strong hearts. We are all a part. Sandra had taken Lupita to visit Jesse in order to make an impression on her, and it did. Ever since that day, Lupita's sole goal was to receive cuerpo certification and live a respectful life in the East Quadrant, Fresno sector. For the last few years, Lupita kept a disciplined daily routine, as suggested by the Ministry of Dual Freedoms. Every morning on the screen, her workout regimen appeared for her to follow. Laying on her weight bench, building biceps and forearms for lifting, she would get lost in the colorful sky above her enclosed patio. Deep red, purple, yellow, and green clouds swirled about, constantly painting the air in the new color variations. The ministry's air purifiers along the street allowed gente to see as far as a couple of blocks. Without them, each home would be lost in its own deep orange cloud. Lupita and El Gente knew how toxic the air was. Each day brought about new deaths from the Weezer colonies. Yet to Lupita, in those moments, the fatal air was something beautiful, a horizon reaching out to her with new possibilities and hopes. Lupita stood firm, balanced, as all the other kids yelled, "Hit that piñata! Come on, Lupita!" And "Wow, look at those muscles!" A few teased. With biceps taut, a grin appeared on Lupita's face as she cocked back her arms and swung with all her might. She wanted to prove how strong she was on this special day, her quinceañera. Blindfolded, with an old broom handle firmly gripped, she landed a blow to the piñata that sent candy flying in every direction, even bouncing off the ceiling of the hard plastic interior of their patio. "Don't throw the stick, mija!" Lupita's mom Sandra yelled. While the candy was still flying about in midair, Lupita hurriedly ripped away her blindfold and jumped onto the mob of children greedily vying for the candy and sweet air pills. Sandra and a few other moms present tried to keep their children calm. Too much excitement might bring about an uncontrollable coughing that lasted for hours, or even worse, wheezing that lasted for days, even weeks. After the mad rush for candy, the children sat down breathing heavily into their devices. "Oh, cool, look what I got!" shouted Louie, Lupita's stout 10-year-old cousin. A ringtone shot out from the living room. "Lupita! Lupe! Everyone!" Sandra called. "The ministry is calling. Hurry!" The kids grabbed their goodies and ran into the living room, surrounding the holographic projection stage atop a coffee table. "Okay, Ma, answer the call," Lupita said nervously to her mom. The room was completely silent. Only the deep droning sound of the air purifiers in the street could be heard. Their sound was constant. A ministry spokesperson appeared atop a hologram receiver plate. "Whoa, a gentry," one of Lupita's younger cousins blurted out, much to her embarrassment. He'd seen a gentry one other time in holographic form. Lupita nudged him to shut up. "Lupita, on behalf of the Ministry of Dual Freedoms, I would like to congratulate you on your quinceañera celebration." Lupita and Sandra held their breath for more news. "I also bring great news to you. We recognize your hard work on developing a strong, fit body that will serve society well. You passed your test for Cuerpo certification. You are now an adult, with all the benefits the ministry grants cuerpos. We shall see you and your mother in San Francisco tomorrow. Travel well." "How come she didn't have any muscles?" asked the younger cousin. "She is gentry. Gentry are skinny and weak in the body," Lupita said. "Not like us. We are strong." She flexed her biceps. "Without our strength, gentry wouldn't survive," Lupita said to a captive audience. Overcome with pride, Sandra stared at her grown daughter from the kitchen. Sandra looked down at her own forearms and biceps, flexing her muscles as hard as she could so that her veins popped out. At 32 years old, Sandra's biceps still measured at 15 inches of hard muscle. She looked down over her shoulders to her calves, the size of footballs. Sandra looked back again at Lupita's young, fit body. She was relieved that Lupita was now carrying on the family legacy of hard-working, strong cuerpos. "Lupita, I forgot to get the candle for your cake. Go to the ministry pantry and pick one up?" Sandra asked. "My ration card is in my worker's bag." Lupita took off her indoor breathing unit and put on her outdoor air mask. The mask covered her whole face, from her eyes down to her chin. She placed a cherry-flavored air pill into the mask receptacle. Lupita took a deep breath as she thought about San Francisco.
Thanks to Patrick Fontes and his son for sharing their work. Chicanx Futurism, Gritos for Tomorrow, Codex 1 is available through Ryder Rose's publishing house, or ask for it at your local bookstore.
And now Aztlan Weekly presenta Hablas Náhuatl featuring Paquilitzli.
I want to talk about the word Quetzali. Now, if you look up the word Quetzali in a dictionary, you'll find out that it means something precious or something beautiful, like these beautiful flowers. And it does mean something beautiful, or something precious. The root of that word quetzali comes from the word verb in Nahuatl quetzal, which is something for something to stand up. And then the suffix at the end, the li, makes it a noun. It makes it mean something that stands up, literally. So this word quetzali is associated with the quetzal bird and its long feathers that stand up. Other ways to say beautiful in Nahuatl are yeyexin and cuacualcin. And I want to say, tiyeyexin, you are beautiful no matter what anybody else says.
That was our hermano Paquilitzli. For more from him, search Paquilitzli on Instagram. You can also find him on YouTube by searching the same name. And now Aztlan Weekly presents Maestro Speaks con Rafael Avitia.
I believe in internationalism, revolutionary internationalism. I think we should support each other. And at the end of the day, we need each other. So it's not about excluding anybody. We will never exclude anybody on this channel. You'd be a fool to ever say, what have Black people ever done for us? Or what have, those Asian people or Muslims ever done for us? Trust me, they've done things for us. And in revolutionary circles, we know that that's true. Beware, the feds are not stupid. They've been doing this forever, divide and conquer. And it even started with the conquistadores when they came to Mexico and divided the Aztecs, right? So beware, because they're going to try to divide us up by jealousy, playing what we call the oppression Olympics. Well, I've been more oppressed than you, and what have you done for us? What have they done for us? Don't fall into that trap. Don't get stuck on stupid. You as Raza Chicana, and I'll speak specifically to my community, you as Raza Chicana have a owe a duty to our community, yes, but you also owe a duty to humanity, because we are better than that. But they're trying to divide us. They're trying to divide us by having people come out and say, well, what have Mexicans, what have those people ever done for us? What have Black people done for us, right? So if you're still, stuck in those circles, please break out of those circles. You're being lied to, number one, and misled, because at the end of the day, we are going to need our Black brothers and sisters. We're going to need our Asian brothers, our Muslim brothers. We're going to need our LGBTQ and our white brothers and sisters. Yes, we're going to need them, and they're going to need us. And hopefully someday, we're not getting caught up on this two-dimensional, low IQ thinking. Well, they never did anything for us. Please don't get stuck on that, because that's what it is stupid.
For more from Maestro Avitia, visit his YouTube page by searching Maestro Avitia. And now Aztlan Weekly presenta Pa' que sepan.
Where does mariachi actually come from, and is it true that it actually has West African roots? Mexican mariachi was built on West African rhythm, indigenous ceremony, and Spanish instruments fused together in Western Mexico, especially in Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Nayarit, Guerrero, and along the Pacific coast. Most people, when they think about mariachi, they think that it's only Spanish and indigenous, but there is a West African component to this music. To understand mariachi, you have to understand how colonization and slavery in Mexico forced different people into the same world and reshaped everyday life. When Spain invaded the region, it set up a colonial system built on forced labor. From 200,000 to 500,000 West African people were brought into New Spain through the transatlantic slave trade. By the colonial period, people of West African descent formed a significant part of the population in places like Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, and Nayarit. Within this colonial world, people of West African descent lived alongside indigenous communities and Spanish settlers. Indigenous people were also pulled into the missions, ranches, and agriculture, and under the caste system, they had children with people of West African descent and of Spanish descent. Creating mixed communities, these three cultures fused together and created what we now know as mariachi. Before mariachi had a name, indigenous communities already held ritual gatherings called mitotes. These were communal ceremonies. That is where the fandango emerges. Fandango is a West African diasporic word and practice that arrived in colonial Mexico through African communities formed during the colonial period. In colonial Mexico, the word fandango came to describe a long communal gatherings where people sang, danced, ate, drank, and celebrated together, often for hours or days. So the indigenous ceremonies of the mitote and the West African diasporic fandangos merged together and created this space. When Spanish authorities in colonial Mexico outlawed West African drums, West African rhythms adapted instead of disappearing. West African and Afro-descended communities in Mexico turned their bodies into the instrument. So zapateado developed within this context as a West African diasporic dance form rooted in Mexican colonial life. People raised a wooden platform, the tarima, and used their feet to strike it, keeping complex polyrhythms alive through the movement. In Mexico, zapateado allowed West African rhythms to continue openly, turning dance into percussion and making the floor itself a part of the music. Mariachi originated in western Mexico, especially in Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Nayarit, Guerrero, and the Pacific coast. As people from these regions moved from ranching, mining, and agriculture and trade, mariachi moved with them, reaching Alta California, or today's California, while it was still part of Mexico. Communities from these regions continued holding fandangos and mariachi gatherings there as part of community life. What many people recognize today took shape later when mariachi entered radio, film, and national stages. Many famous mariachi singers and icons came to represent the image, even though the music itself grew out of a deeply mixed communities shaped by West African, indigenous, and Spanish life together. So next time you listen to some mariachi, remember that it carries West African roots too.
That was our hermana Julia G. You can find more from her on Instagram by searching Julia X Gon.
And now, shout outs.
Special shout out to Hennessy Pedro Parker.
Desde Houston, Texaslan, for providing his firme music and beats to go out the program. If you'd like to hear more from him, visit soundcloud.com/Hennessy-Pedro-Parker. And once again, our camarada Veronica Aliel would like to give a shout out to all Raza who are in any way contributing to building locally in their communities. And a definite invite to join El Partido Nacional de la Raza Unida to build national Raza political power. If interested, visit razaunidaparty.org. That's razaunidaparty.org. And finally, Aztlan Weekly would like to hear from you, Raza. If you reside anywhere in Aztlan and would like to share newsworthy events with us, or if you would like to make a special shout out to family, friends, y queridos, or an organization serving our community, or if you would like to share your thoughts, cáiganle. Shoot us an email at news@aztlanweekly.com, or you can visit our website at aztlanweekly.com. You can also find us on social media. Search Aztlan Weekly and click follow, subscribe, like, or share. Gracias.
Thanks for listening, Raza. Hasta luego.
Que viva la raza y que viva Aztlan libre. Es todo.
Minutes, Coordinated Universal Time.